So I'm gonna bring up the game. Hopefully this works properly, because hey, Jay Grow, good to see you. Silent Hill 4 I've gotten through GOG rather than Steam. It's not on Steam, and so instead of Steam's very convenient shift tab, I'm alt tabbing, and we'll see how that goes. Okay. I'm gonna let this music cycle back around to the beginning, because this is actually my first bit of music analysis that I have to talk about. Is the piece of music playing right now. I'm gonna let it loop around, and then we'll sit and listen to it for a little. Okay, it's gonna start doing the opening. Okay. This is The Last Mariachi. Okay. Don't worry, we're getting to you, Angel. Room of Angel. Okay, so now I'm gonna do that and bring up my new and improved piano demos for the Silent Hill 4 stream. I am playing this in a 4:3 aspect ratio rather than 16:9. 16:9 actually doesn't look bad with the GOG version, but the aspect ratio that they originally designed the game for was 4:3, and there are things about the UI that get stretched out when I try to do it on 1920 by 1080, the 16:9 aspect ratio. So I'm just gonna do it this way, and we'll deal. But yeah, so this opening theme, The Last Mariachi, it's interesting to me for a couple reasons. First of all, again, I don't know if there are any storytelling or thematic reasons that it's called The Last Mariachi, or why he would use this particular piece of music other than he made something, yet again, that sounds really creepy. The only connection I could possibly make is there is a character named Cynthia Velasquez who seems to be Latina, and might be using that as an excuse to be like, hey, we've got a mariachi song, a creepy mariachi song in here. Who knows? But part of what makes that piece of music interesting to me is there's what the mariachi guitar is doing, which is kind of this modal thing, which even that at some point kind of almost resolves to this kind of almost major key sounding thing, but even then it still sounds creepy. And the reason for that is because the piece of music starts off with this drone on the synth on C sharp. And so that just holds throughout. And it's very easy to forget it's there once the guitar comes in. But you've got this creating this clash there that you're not even necessarily cognizant of, but you feel, and the dissonance between the guitar and that synth tone. And then it's particularly when it gets into this almost major key sounding thing where it's playing like then you're getting some serious dissonance right there. And it's just off-putting. And it's a perfect unsettling mood to start the game off with on the title screen, on the menu screen. It's one of the things that I always think about with this game is you don't think about how much time you spend on the menu screen, but like if you're playing it on the PS2 or on computer, like it's the first thing that you hear when you start up the game, and it immediately gets you into that mood. Before we jump into the game, I will say just like blanket content warning. This is a horror game, an M-rated horror game, but like this is about a serial killer, and there are like gruesome murders referenced in the storytelling. There are gruesome murders that you see the aftermath of on screen, or you watch happen on screen, and it'll usually be pretty obvious when that stuff is coming up. But of the original 4 Team Silent games, Silent Hill 4 is also probably the one that's the like goriest and most disturbing of them. And not even gory in like a splatter horror kind of way, but more like 7 or the early Saw movie. Not even Saw, because Saw is more like leaning more into the torture side of things. And well, there are a couple of deaths in this that almost lean into that. But just this idea of like, oh, this is there's some disturbing stuff that happens in this game, both with the murders and then with the supernatural elements that they've decided to put into this game. And we're going to get some of that right away at the beginning of the game. And it is 7:30, so this seems as good a time as any to get into it. Before I start in, how is the sound of everything? Am I loud enough? Is the keyboard loud enough? Was the game loud enough when we were playing? The menu screen is kind of quiet, but like I was trying to dial in the volume well earlier in the day. I might bring up the game volume slightly. Oh, it's perfect. Okay, cool. Then I will leave it where it is. And game slightly is probably fine. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'll bring the game up a little bit. Do that, and then a little bit in my headphones too. Okay. I just know that I'm going to go back to this recording later and just be like, why is everything so quiet? All right. Let's actually play a video game now. Is there anything in my notes that I forgot about? Okay. Yeah, there's another piece of music right in the opening. So we'll get into the game and then I'll do another digression. This is the thing. There's going to be more frequent digressions probably, but they probably aren't going to be as in-depth unless it's one of the major songs. Okay. At least for the first stream. Once we get into it, it won't be as big a deal. Let's start a new game. I am going to be playing on easy, simply because this is early Silent Hill combat and controls, and it can get kind of clunky. And I am not doing this to prove my video game skills to anyone. I'm doing this for scholarly purposes, to analyze storytelling and music and that sort of thing. Let's do it. It was 2 years ago that Henry Townsend moved into room 302 of South Ashfield Heights, an apartment building in the medium-sized city of Ashfield. Henry was happy and enjoying his new life. But 5 days ago, something strange happened. He began to have a recurring dream each night. One other thing. He couldn't leave room 302. Right. So, this is also the first Silent Hill game to be playable, to have sections in first-person perspective, which I'll talk about more later. Really quick, talking about more music. That piece of music that we heard right there at the beginning, playing over the narration, is one called Melancholy Requiem. And we only get a snippet of it there. It's actually one of my favorite pieces on the Silent Hill 4 soundtrack. We didn't get the full extent of it in that scene, but it has this very cool, moody quality to it, and the drum rhythm has a nice groove to it. But yeah, so we start off with this piano riff that is going. So we seem to be in some scale of E, because we've got, and it's confirmed when that synth, that low bass synth comes in. We've got E, A, B, and E creating this kind of like E sus chord, which is part of the reason I like this song. It starts us in this place of uncertainty. Most of the time when you're hearing music, you're hearing something that's clearly in like a major key or a minor key. Major being what we generally hear as happy sounding, minor key being what we generally hear as sad. But this starts us off in this place where we've got the first, fourth, and fifth scale degree. And it gives us a sense of like, okay, this could go in either direction. And then that synth comes in low, and it's like, okay, this is getting kind of dark. On the soundtrack, a keyboard sound comes in that is a mellotron string. At least to my ear, that's what it sounds like, a mellotron string. The mellotron is like one of the earliest examples to me of at least in the 20th century, of a sampled instrument. And we're going to be talking about samples a lot in this game. Samples in music can refer to anything from like an instrument that has like each note sampled from a particular noise, like it was recorded and then it's spread out over the keyboard so that anywhere you play it on the keyboard, you will have that tone in the pitch that you need. Sampling can also refer to taking a piece of a song and using that in a different context. Like you see it a lot in hip-hop music, rap, industrial music. Akira Yamaoka specifically uses a lot of samples in his music, partly because that was the prompt that was given to him when he was writing the original Silent Hill, was we want something that has like a Nine Inch Nails, Portishead kind of vibe, and both bands that use sampled material in their music. And it was also a convenient way to like generate the effects that he wanted very quickly. But all that to say, the mellotron is an instrument, a keyboard instrument that was developed, I want to say, in like the 50s, 60s, 70s, that was a small keyboard that literally had a tape for each key in the keyboard that would loop around and play a particular tone. If you've ever listened to classic rock music, particularly classic progressive rock from like the 60s and 70s, you have probably heard a mellotron, whether it was mellotron strings or mellotron flute. Mellotron strings, I believe, are used at the beginning. Like one of the most famous examples in progressive rock is Watcher of the Sky by Genesis, that starts off with this big mellotron string intro. I think the strings in Court of the Crimson King by King Crimson also could be mellotron, or if they aren't mellotron on the recording itself, they probably played it with mellotron live. That was a part of the creation of it, was so that you could get that orchestral sound in a live setting when you didn't have a full orchestra. Led Zeppelin also used mellotron flute to play the beginning of Stairway to Heaven live when they didn't have an actual flute player. And the reason that you still have the mellotron, and it's become kind of like a featured instrument in a lot of like contemporary rock music, or in this case like soundtrack stuff, is because of that, the way that it generates a tone, like each note being like a tape that plays a note as if it was being played by like a section of an orchestra. It gives this almost like nostalgic old time cinema quality. And it also has a lot of like defects and artifacts that give it that kind of character and imperfection and almost like grungy aesthetic, especially in a context like this. I wish I had a mellotron string tone in, let me see. No, I don't have mellotron in this, but you know what? I'll grab my BBC Symphony Orchestra sound to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Oh. So, oh, actually, this isn't going to really do what I'm talking about, but you know what? I'm not going to waste time. Undo that. Is there like a string ensemble? Got analog strings and flute sound. Section strings. Let's try that. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, that's not too bad. So that plays over the piano riff that we heard in this opening section, and it further complicates the key or mode that we're in, because first we get the piano, which is doing the whole, where we're in the suspended chord. We're not sure if we're in major or minor. And then we get the strings, which have this, which are playing in the scale that that pretty clearly puts us in a minor key. In that first phrase, and then the second phrase we get this, and that note is not part of the E minor scale, and it gives that almost that more sinister quality. That actually puts us in E Phrygian, I believe, and I'm still doing research on like the rest of the music in the game, but I think this is a game where Akira Yamaoka likes to do a lot of that modal mixture stuff. Like we kind of heard it in The Last Mariachi, whether it was intentional or unintentional, with the combination of the mariachi guitar being recorded essentially in one key and that synth tone is suggesting a different key, and those combined together to create this kind of like dual key mode type thing. And then here we've got this progression in the course of Melancholy Requiem of first we're like, okay, we're kind of not sure what key we're in. We've got this suspended E chord. Then it's like, oh, the strings come in. We're in E minor, okay. And then the strings add in that flat second, and now it's like, oh, we're not even in E minor. We're in something perhaps a little darker than E minor, E Phrygian. And even though we don't get that string part in there in the game, I think I like this piece being like one of the first pieces of music, being literally the first piece of music we hear in the game after the title, the menu music, because I think it helps create that sense of uncertainty that Henry must be experiencing, or whoever the narrator in this opening section is, because as we will come to discover, perhaps it isn't Henry. Now, once again, let's get back into the game and actually play some game. Okay. So, as the opening mentioned, Henry Townsend has been living in room 302, and recently things started getting weird. He started having weird dreams, and for whatever reason, he is unable to leave his apartment. And so we're starting the game off, climbed out of bed, and already our apartment does not look right. What's with this room? It's covered in blood and rust. Oh, thanks for joining, MV Luna. Currently lurking while I wind down after work, but I'm in for this kind of analysis. Yeah, no, I've been getting more and more excited to dig into this game. Glad to have you here. All right. And there's a random scream. Like, you literally take one step, and this game is already like, hey, I'm going to fuck with you. I really want to make sure I don't miss any of the little comments and stuff. I'm going to try and keep working my way back from the... This is my room. But what the hell has happened to it? This room... Is it really my room? It's in terrible shape. The air is so heavy, my head hurts. This photo, was it here before? My head. This photo, was it here before? I've seen this lighthouse before. The window, I can't get it open. That's weird. My red typewriter is gone. And that's our first indicator that whoever we're playing right now, it's not Henry. Henry's not a writer. To pull back the veil a little bit, there is a character in this game named Joseph Schreiber, who is an investigative journalist, and he is the previous tenant of Room 302. And pretty sure that Henry Townsend's strange dreams might be recollections or some weird time stuff going on where he's reliving moments of Joseph Schreiber's experiences in Room 302. Something that I alluded to in my Silent Hill 2 playthrough is like there's all the like the arguments people get into over whether or not Silent Hill 2 is a time loop or anything, but regardless of Silent Hill 2, there is a lot of time like, for lack of a better term, time fuckery in the Silent Hill series, where people seem to go back in time or forward in time or to weird places. It's got this kind of cosmic horror, like unstuck in place and time aspect to it that Silent Hill 4 plays into in a really interesting way with the residents of Room 302, and particularly Henry and Joseph Schreiber. There are all sorts of dusty items here. What the hell? None of it's mine. That's another thing I remember being like, all the characters in this game, or particularly Henry, and I guess Joseph too, if we're playing as Joseph, they like saying "what the hell" a bunch. All right. My head hurts. I don't remember putting up this photo. This church. So it's interesting because it almost feels as if we are playing as Joseph Schreiber walking around Room 302 and seeing Henry's belongings. So it's not even like, oh, Henry is reliving a memory of Joseph's. It's like Joseph is possessing Henry or has somehow leapt forward to experience what's happening to Henry. It's part of why, again, like the lore and story in this game are so fascinating for a variety of different reasons. Okay, let's see how the rest of the apartment looks. The door is shut tight. It won't open at all. Ah, yes, Cleo. Joseph hasn't moved on, perhaps. So yeah, that is the door to the bathroom, which we'll become very familiar with once we get into the full game. We've got radio on, TV on. Okay, we gotta do this right. Door shut tight. These shoes, they're not even my size. The door is shut for good. It smells horrible. I'm afraid to open it up. We saw some pretty nasty things in fridges in Silent Hill 2, so I understand his feelings. I don't feel like washing my hands right now. Yeah, I guess if my sink looked like that, I wouldn't either. I'm not interested in food at all. My head, it hurts. Creepy. Looks like a face. I thought I moved this, but now it's back where it was. Oh, yeah. Who are all these people? 21 people. It can't be. Why are they here? Did Joseph die in a head-related way? Um, I can't recall, but perhaps. Although I feel like headaches in this game are kind of just a general thing of like, there's bad supernatural stuff around. Also, if I hadn't clicked on this or pressed X on this beforehand, you get around this and the camera will automatically move you over here so that it really wants you to see, hey, there's a creepy face in the wall. Who is this guy? That's our protagonist, Henry Townsend. I talked about like how James Sunderland in the original Silent Hill 2 kind of comes off as a himbo. I think Henry it might just literally be a himbo. And here's a very important thing that I don't think I saw on my first playthrough of this game. It's part of an old picture book. There once was a baby and a mother who were connected by a magical cord. But one day the cord was cut and the mother went to sleep. The baby was left all alone. But the baby made lots of friends at Wish House, and everyone was very nice to him. The baby was happy. It's ripped here, and I can't read anymore. So that little children's story basically sets up the main themes of the game. There's a lot of stuff to do with mothers and children and the connection between them that is echoed throughout the game through memos, through radio broadcasts, through imagery, items, metaphorically, literally. So yeah, just keep that in mind as we continue to play. I don't even know what this is. See, that's the thing, one of the things that is curious to me. Like, I guess it suggests that Joseph Schreiber was from, like, a time that didn't have just, like, portable radios. Which, I'm trying to think, when did portable radios become a thing? It would have been, like, I thought it would have been, like, 60s or 70s, wasn't it? And then even further, where did this big TV come from? I thought I had a record player here. Joseph Schreiber, music lover. Let's try the window again. Can't get it open. What's this? Doesn't have much to say about that. All right, I think we've explored. Oh wait, is there something here? That is the opening to our game. The music we're hearing right now is the beginning of Room of Angel, which we're only getting an instrumental version of it right now. It'll pop up again probably before we finish tonight's stream, and I'll dig into it more when we hit that point. But yeah, this has that, like, it's such a aesthetic and vibe that sort of like, not only does the setting itself look degraded and run down, but it's like the quality of the film is supposed to be that sort of analog, degraded film. There he is, Henry Townsend.
Dream.
Yeah, the spirit of Joseph Schreiber seems to be still in this apartment. It's that lake in Silent Hill. I went sightseeing there a few years ago. Toluca Lake. I like this photo because it really captures the beauty and tranquility of the trees and lake there. I put this up on the wall right after I moved here. I mean, that was your first mistake, dude. Don't put anything Silent Hill related anywhere in your place of residence. Something bad's gonna happen. But it doesn't help that you moved into an apartment that's specifically full of Silent Hill fuckery. It's still not working. I mean, Henry, it is visibly like,
Hello?
Help me.
What? The cord's cut.
oh, okay. I thought you could see that it was cut from the front here, but I guess not. But yeah. Phone cable is cut, and we just received a help me message. That is one of the things I appreciate about this game too, is that like it wastes no time in just trying to be like, hey, we know you came here for a scary experience. We're gonna just keep throwing so much weird stuff at you, and throw you off your balance. This is my bed. It's bread. Hey. It's another interesting aspect of this game. Looking out the window, seeing what's going on out on the street. These graphics haven't aged the greatest, but it's still cool that they did it. Now, who might that be? And what's she doing out there? Okay. We got like 3 or 4 of the same woman in a peach dress walking around. So yeah, you can look out your window, see the other side of the apartments. I don't think there's a way to zoom in, but you can like hit the window, try to draw people's attention. It doesn't work. I like the fact that they have that though. I think right across from us, that's Richard Braintree. We'll be running into him later in the game. And I was talking to Cleo earlier today about how much of the premise of this game was like a they took this concept of living in an apartment and your home, your room being your safe space, and over the course of this game, that safety gets just gradually more and more violated, and how much that oh, what's that guy doing down there? Is he playing air guitar? Air drums? I think he might be rocking out to some music. Oh, he's dancing to something. But yeah, it's like there are so many cool aspects of this game that it is unfortunate that some of the gameplay decisions were not the greatest. But we've got a phone number, Bar Southfield 555-3750. Let's give it a try. Maybe we can call for help. Pardon? That noise just now, what was that? Can we call 911? No. No answer, just like I thought. Can we call 8675309? Okay. I'm really quick gonna pull up a walkthrough to make sure I don't miss anything, because like I said, it's been a while since I played this game, and I only ever got one of the endings. Like, I know what happens in the other endings, because this is another one of the Silent Hill games where the endings are kind of more on a scale of, ooh, you fucked up and everything's bad forever, to, oh, you solved all the things and you're gonna survive. Oh, wait, I think I already have a link somewhere in here. There it is. Okay. Okay. Silent Hill 4 walkthrough. Okay. I think we're good for now. Okay. How's everyone doing in chat? Still good? All right. Let's keep going. I'm trying to remember if there were any other phone numbers that did fun things on that phone. It's a brand new scrapbook. You can view the contents of the scrapbook by pressing the scrapbook button. I think the scrapbook essentially like collects all your memos and stuff in one place. Okay. It's a photo of the lighthouse near the lake in Silent Hill. It feels a little bit lonely for a tourist town, but it's a nice place to relax and heal your soul. Interesting wording about that one. Just a quick shot I took in downtown Silent Hill. So we've got a bona fide, maybe not fan of Silent Hill, but someone who's been there and liked it enough to take pictures. So Henry, these are the things we know about Henry right now. He moved into room 302, which was the biggest mistake of his life, and he's apparently a photographer. It's a nice tourist town about a half day's drive from here. And this is the other thing that people tend to forget is in the context of the series, Silent Hill is a fully functioning tourist town for most people. But when the right person ends up there or ends up in an apartment possessed by weird Silent Hill stuff, that's when things go weird. Already looked out the window. Can I look in the closet? What's that in the closet? No, okay. Did I already look at the church? This is a photo of the church I ran across while I was visiting Silent Hill. For some reason, I was really attracted by the way it looked, so I took the picture. Now, I can't remember if this is meant to be the Balkan Church from Silent Hill 1 or potentially the church from the Rebirth ending of Silent Hill 2. But I'm pretty sure it's one of the two. Okay, not this as far as I can go. Let's head out into the apartment. What does it say in here? Anything? Okay. Ooh, there's a note. It's the laundry room. There are tools and things on the ground. It's a clothes dryer. I don't need that right now. There's nothing interesting here at the moment. Yeah, this is also like it's always fascinating me to think about games like this. Oh, 5 days ago. That's when I first had that nightmare. I haven't been able to get out of my room since then. The phone doesn't work, the TV doesn't work. I can't even get anybody to hear me when I yell. My whole world has suddenly turned insane. My door is chained up, the windows are sealed shut. And on top of that, someone chained the door from the inside. How am I going to get out of here? Don't go out, Walter.
What the hell?
Put it
What's
on the
going
counter.
here?
That's Eileen Galvin from next door.
Oh man. Hope my luck changes before the party.
So this is another aspect of the game. See, these I think are cool aspects of the gameplay. Let me see if I can get rid of that. I can never figure out how to remove stuff. Like I gotta, hold on. If I bring it up on here on my phone. right. Man. There we go. All right. Let's get back into the game. There's so many cool little elements of gameplay having to do with just this first-person perspective in the apartment. And one of them is looking out the peephole in your door and seeing scenes play out, or just seeing these really creepy handprints on the wall, which are probably made with blood. Let's count them. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yes, 15 handprints. Well, that's creepy and ominous. I wonder if Eileen could see those. Didn't seem like it. Okay. I can't open the door. And this just appeared. Don't go out, Walter. Looks like it's written in blood. What's this? Mom, why don't you wake up? You put the first letter in your scrapbook. Mothers and sons, mothers and children. That's what this game is about. Okay, let's see what's in the fridge. We got chocolate milk. We don't need the chocolate milk yet, so I'm not going to take it because we have limited inventory in this game, which is dumb. White wine. Take the bottle of white wine. Yes, I think we've earned that at this point. We've had 5 days trapped in our apartment, dreaming about the ghost of a previous tenant. It'll break eventually if I keep using it as a weapon. And okay, that closes it. I don't feel like washing my hands right now. Something he has in common with Joseph Schreiber. What do we got over here? What is that? Flake frit? I don't know. I don't really feel like cooking now. I hear you, Henry. Sometimes I just don't feel like cooking. Yeah, like again, the lighting in this game, I love that sort of like single light source fading into darkness kind of thing. It's not as stark as it is in some other places in this game, but I just freaking love it. Ooh, there's stuff to explore in here. I've had this furniture since before I moved here 2 years ago. It's a photo of me as a kid, and then when I graduated from high school. Okay. Okay. Can't do anything with that yet. Got this photo from Frank Sunderland, the super here at South Ashfield Heights. Sunderland, as in James Sunderland's father. There isn't a whole ton more. There isn't like a bunch of more lore that you get about James in this game, and you don't even get well, you do actually learn a decent amount about his father, Frank, but it is a kind of cool connection to have between the two games. Also, this is not what that picture looked like in Joseph Schreiber's, or in The Dream, The Nightmare. Joseph Schreiber seemed to reference something about 21 people. What is that all about? This is a photo of the outside of South Ashfield Heights. I was immediately attracted by the outside of the building, as well as the view from the window here. When I moved here 2 years ago, I almost felt like I was being drawn here. That's never a good sign in a Silent Hill game, if you feel like you're being drawn somewhere. Typically, that means you're guilty of something and Silent Hill's drawing you somewhere, but perhaps Henry was drawn here for some other reason. Maybe his photography skills could come into play. And here's our save point. That is from a test save I did. Room 302. Okay, maybe if I try these windows? Anyone? Someone, please. I can't get out. Hotel South Ashfield, Restaurant Fusilli, which just makes me think of the Great Fusilli from Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, yes, this is from 2004, and it shows its age, but again, the color palette, the textures, there's stuff about this game that, to me, still just perfectly set a mood. Okay, what do we have here? Looks like a scrap from some book. Maybe I can put it in my scrapbook. Man, this thing looks like it was written ages ago. Through the ritual of the Holy Assumption, he built a world. It exists in a space separate from the world of our Lord. More accurately, it is within, yet without the Lord's world. Unlike the world of our Lord, it is a world in extreme flux. Unexpected doors or walls, moving floors, odd creatures, a world only he can control. Anyone swallowed up by that world will live there for eternity, undying. They will haunt that realm as a spirit. How can our Lord forgive such an abomination? This part of the book is too damaged to read. It is important to travel lightly in that world. He who carries too heavy a burden will regret it. The book is too damaged to read anymore. So the first part is just cult bullshit. That will come into play later. This is a clue about the gameplay. Basically saying, hey, you have limited inventory in this game. Don't carry too many things. Let's see what's on the radio.
And now the news. Yesterday, Wally the Walrus, a longtime resident of the Springfield Zoo, gave birth to a healthy baby walrus pup named Buttercup. Mother and child are doing just fine.
Mother and child. TV. It's weird. A few days ago, the power to my TV and my VCR just cut out. Ever since I started having those nightmares. This chest could hold a lot of stuff. In fact, it could probably hold my entire inventory. So yeah, right now we've just got the wine bottle. This is where you store weapons because you can only carry 10 items at a time in this game. So some of the stuff from Silent Hill F is aped from Silent Hill Homecoming. Some of it's from this game. Some of the stuff in Silent Hill Homecoming comes from this game, gameplay mechanic wise. Silent Hill Origins also has breakable weapons. It's like they were like, oh, well, Silent Hill 4 was the last of the original series, so we should probably follow its lead when it comes to some of the game design stuff. And it's like, well, maybe not. Maybe a lot of people didn't like this gameplay design because it became tedious having to go back to the apartment and put items away and take out the right items. But we won't get too deeply into that. We only have one item right now. We don't have to worry about it. Okay. What was that? did it come from? Did it come from the door? No. I know where it came from. It came from the one room we haven't explored yet. The bathroom.
What the hell? Somebody in there? I wonder if I can get out this way.
This isn't the time for that kind of thing. Video game characters don't piss. Of course, there's no one in the bathtub. Of course. This is no time to be taking a shower. There's a hole in my wall that has creepy voices coming out of it. Again, like the sound design in this game, it's too fucking good. The water has stopped running. Yeah, that makes sense, considering you've got a gaping hole in the wall of your bathroom. All right. Will you go in the hole? The sewage pipe's broken too. Yeah, why not? Hey, got a weapon. Enter the hole. See, it's not just James Sunderland who's obsessed with putting his arm or himself through holes. And it's also not just Silent Hill 3 where holes represent something to do with mothers. Although in this case, it's more of an umbilical cord situation. We've got kind of flashlight film grain stuff in this game too. Apologies for not mentioning that. I am in control of this section. For whatever reason, this first time you go in the hole, they want you to progress forward yourself. Where will it lead us? Apparently led us to an escalator down into the subway world, perhaps? I really do appreciate how much this game really leans into the dream logic of Silent Hill metaphysics. It's just like, yeah, you just like a door, like a hole just randomly formed in the wall of your bathroom. You climb through it and it spits you out in this subway. Makes perfect sense. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. How are people liking the game so far? So far, we haven't come up against anything too offensive gameplay-wise, but now we're actually in the game. And, how do I... Oh, jeez, what are the key bindings for... Hold on. Button config... Is that what I want? Or... Yeah. Move forward, move backward, move left, move right, turn left, turn right, up, down, left, right. Enter, action, investigate, cancel, skip demo, pause, ready weapon. I love that it's all button 7, button 10, and not actually like the buttons on the controller. Evade, rear camera. I'm just gonna have to cycle through stuff and see what happens. Okay. Let's resume. Okay, there's reverse camera. L2 is reverse camera. R2 gives me the HUD for my health and my power attack. Don't know if the bumpers are doing anything. Triangle brings up the scrapbook. Circle is back. X is interact. Square brings up my items. Also pressing left or right on the D-pad. Okay, so that turns, and then, right, yeah, that stuff all works the way it should. What about the share button? Oh, okay, interesting. I think that's all the stuff I need to know how to do. We've got another piece of music coming up in this next scene. I believe it is the piece Silent Circus, which is cool. It was never one of my favorites, so I don't have a whole ton to say about it, but we'll see. There's also a ton of like ambient music in this game that is not on the soundtrack, like the officially released soundtrack. So, who could that be up there? Well, I'm not gonna bother her yet. I want to see what's down this road. Information for the Lynch Street line and the King Street line. David Lynch, Stephen King. Is this really South Ashfield Station? How did we end up here? What the hell? Some kind of poster. There's nothing interesting about it. How do I bring up my map? That was one of the things I was wondering about. Oh! It is R3. Okay, good to know. I think all the maps in this game are just going to be hand-drawn by Henry, rather than having to find them, which is more convenient than possibly missing the map. Okay. How do we... Was it L2? Yes. We're getting the hang of it. I might remap some of these buttons so that they're closer to what they are in the Silent Hill 2 remake, but we're figuring it out. Information. What about this? What's this? Something... Havoc, both signs daily? I don't know. Some kind of poster. There's nothing interesting about it. There's words on it, Henry. Of course there's something interesting about it. Okay. There we go. Alright, I don't know when this cutscene is going to trigger, so... Some kind of advertisement. Yeah, okay. What about this? Whatever this is. What's with this? This looks like the South Ashfield subway station. But I don't think this should be here. Yeah, what is this? I don't know what that is.
Who are you? What's your name?
Henry. And you?
This is my dream, and you don't even know my name. It's Cynthia.
Your dream.
That's right. This is just a dream. And a really terrible one, too. I hope I wake up soon.
So you think this is a dream, huh?
Well, if it's not a dream, what is it? Anyway, I want to get out of here, but I can't find the exit. Say, will you help me find it? I'm kind of scared all alone. I'll do a special favor for you later. It's just a dream, so I might as well have some fun.
I would love if Henry's just like, I'm a gay photographer. All right, so this is Cynthia Velasquez, and she'll be with us for a short period of time. Yeah, so that piece of music was called Silent Circus. Again, I don't have a whole ton to say about it. You know what? There was something I considered using it as a demonstration for, to talk about like synth tones and stuff. I don't know how much of that composition is sample and how much of it is, Akira Yamaoka found a cool synth tone and decided to use that. But it gives me an excuse to talk about how synthesizers work. So let me bring up a synthesizer on my DAW here. Okay. So, no, this is not the one I want. Where's just a good synth? Let me try to. I should have prepped this beforehand. That's one of the ones that I used before. Is this it? No. You know what? I might actually have something on here already. Let's do the Big Moog. Hold on. So this is a very cutting sound that we've got as our synth tone. Nothing like the one that we've got in Silent Circus. But if I mess around a little bit with the stuff here in my DAW, perhaps I will be able to dial in more closely. So I have been a keyboardist for most of my life, and I still am learning how synthesizers work. I was very prejudiced against synthesizers for a long time because in a lot of contexts they sound kind of cheesy to me or too synthetic. One of my favorite bands, or my favorite band is still, I think, Pink Floyd, and part of that is because of the way that Rick Wright uses keyboards in a very organic way, like not just his pianos and electric pianos and organ, but also the synthesizer tones he uses. And Akira Yamaoka also has a way of using synthesizer in a way that feels very atmospheric and organic. This tone is not that. So how would I go about trying to dial in something that was more like that? Well, first of all, here's something that's a little bit closer probably. Ghost pad. We're getting closer. Juno. Like the Roland Juno. Still kind of sharp. And a lot of synth tones you can break down by their waveform. Like right here, we're using a sine wave for... Whoop. I had the damper pedal down. And it's interesting because I don't think this is actually reflecting the... If I actually click on those... No, that doesn't change it. What happens if I change this to a... a sawtooth? Is this changing anything? Oh, wait. Oh, the rate isn't up at all. That's why it's not. You know what? We're going to move on from this one. I didn't have a whole ton of stuff I was going to say about it, and I also clearly did not prepare enough to talk about synthesizer stuff, so let's just undo until we get back to the piano. One thing I will say about Silent Circus is it does have a little bit of a Circus vibe to it with the tone that he's using. It's got kind of that more pad-like quality to it. Okay, come on, bring up the game. You know what? I'm gonna just switch over to video game. There we go. It's got a quality that almost has like a pad or organ quality to it. And the drums and note choices give it this kind of like, not bouncy feel, but more of a lighter feel as we're in this kind of lighter scene with Cynthia where she's coming on to Henry and being like, hey, you're in my dream. What are you doing in my dream? And seems to be almost having like a good time, which Cynthia, if only you knew. Okay. So we are in South Ashfield Station, the subway station. And she's with us for like 5 seconds and then...
Wait a minute. I think I'm gonna puke.
So, no companion quest. What's the phrase I'm looking for? Oh, escort mission. No escort mission. Another bad case of the hills. You're right, Cleo. Welcome back. I honestly think, I get the impression that Cynthia might have just genuinely had like a hangover or something. And then Silent Hill was like, nah, we can't have that. We can't have you just be like regular sick. And then we've got this disgusting dog creature, which is a more common enemy in the series than you would think. Like, I think there are weird dogs in Silent Hill 1, 3, and 4. Not the stock wildcat sounds. And that's fucking weird. They're like, tongues go stiff so that they can... okay. I am not gonna bother with them right now. Actually, I might need to, because I need to get past them. Hold on. How do I... Where's my... Ready my weapon? Oh, crap. Hold on. Let's get the... How do I use... How do I equip? Fuck. There we go. Okay. We're fine. Everything is fine. Come on. Oh, do I just have to, like, hit it lightly. I thought I keep holding it. Okay, and... Okay, that is the same at least. Oh, he went back to guzzling down the blood of his brethren, it would seem. Okay. Well, what was going on in here, guys? What was that sound? Was that just my... it looks like there's no one in there. Just my pipe hitting against the wall. They make up for it by being half butterfly. Yeah, again, the sound design in these games is wild. Okay, I know that we're not supposed to go into the women's room, but she's been in there a while. I want to make sure she's okay and not getting eaten by friggin' weird dogs that have spear tongues. Cynthia, you okay? Cynthia. Oh, fuck, Cynthia. What is this thing doing here? It's a big hole in the wall, and the border of it is the same as the halo of the sun, which I have on my t-shirt because I'm playing Silent Hill again. Okay. Where could this crazy hole lead to? Any guesses in chat? Well, we're going to enter it. We'll find out soon enough. No one has ever explained the weird tongues to me. Yeah, I think it was just a creative decision. How can we make these dogs even more disgusting? Let's have their tongues get stiff and spear-like. I don't know if you were here when I was talking about this before, Cleo, but I was talking about how the tunnel that leads you from your apartment to the worlds and back, very much an umbilical cord kind of vibe with all the mother-child stuff going on in this game.
What? Another dream.
Was it though? I mean,
It seems so real.
yeah, it did. And Cynthia, you watched Cynthia walk down into the subway.
Was I really inside that woman's dream?
Oh, if only.
Oh,
Henry,
that's just stupid. What am I thinking?
Henry, don't worry your pretty little head over it. None of this is going to make sense to you. Okay. Hey, and my health is back up. Okay. Yeah, none of this is going to be different, I don't think. Let's see if anything's different out the window. Anything happening at the subway? No. Anything happening across the way in the apartments? No. Cleo says, Henry gives me big early Keanu Reeves guy who's there to say whoa vibes. No, honestly, especially considering like the time this game came out, probably. They're probably thinking of Keanu. Again, I was comparing the aesthetic to The Matrix earlier, and man, it was his specialty and he was good at it. Okay, so we're back in the apartment. Let's see, anything new in the door? Nothing. Let's... Wait a second. This furniture has been here since I moved in. Huh? That's weird. Somebody moved it. Straighten it? Yes. Who could have done it? Why is there a gun on the floor? There's a pistol on the floor. Yeah, I just saw demon dogs with spear tongues, so I'm absolutely taking the pistol. Easy to use handgun, but not much stopping power. Okay, what else is going on over here? This furniture has been here since I moved in, but I moved it around a bit. Yes, I just did that. Can we read what's on the wall? There's a message carved in here. It looks like they used an ice pick or something. The faint hope I had is slowly changing to despair. I've somehow managed to tunnel this far, but no matter what I do, I can't get any further. The hallway, the windows, the walls, to the sweat. No, I'm not going to do that. It feels like this room is stuck in another dimension. Eileen never noticed. And here's another fun aspect of this game. Voyeurism. This is an actual aspect of the gameplay.
Goddamn broom. Oh. There it is.
And Eileen doesn't seem to be able to see us. Thankfully, we never see her doing anything like untoward in the game. But yeah, it's another one of those aspects of the Silent Hill games where they are purposely trying to make the player feel uncomfortable. It isn't about like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you could see like the sexy girl next door and stuff? It's like, no, it is the I think it's the I think that Robbie plush is untoward. No, that's fair. That's fair. And this isn't even the worst of it, Cleo. But it's very much the developers assuming, hey, we assume that most people playing this game are like decent, normal human beings who wouldn't do this sort of thing. So it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. And we're also going to have some scary stuff happen through that little, okay, phone. Who's got the phone?
Where did you go? Hurry! Save me!
Save you?
If you need a token, there's one here.
Look, I looked for you, and you weren't there. Was that like it? What is that scratching noise? Oh, it's Eileen. Girl, I don't know you. Apparently, Eileen is cleaning outside our front door, which is nice, I suppose. Wish we could contact her and she could open the door up, but alas, it is not to be. Also, I do need to read this off from Cleo. Henry has a really interesting thing where he keeps getting pulled out of the immersion. He actually can say, maybe I was just imagining that. Henry is like that character you want in a cosmic horror Lovecraft story who can see the horrors, but they just aren't smart enough to even try to fathom them. And so he's just like, yeah, so that was fucked up. I'm not gonna think too hard about it. I'm just gonna move on. Here's Richard Braintree. Don't know what that one's doing. She seems to be doing what we're doing, looking out the window. But I assume she can't see us. What are those people doing down there? I actually really love what they do with the front door people. Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about before, Cleo, is like they really took advantage. That is the aspect of the gameplay in this game that I really appreciate. They were like, we're going to do first person perspective for the times that you're in the apartment, and we're really going to take advantage of that by having all these different elements to the gameplay there, like looking through the peephole, looking through the hole into Eileen's room, looking out the windows and seeing what's going on out there, turning on the radio and
next, we'll be taking a look at the weather. Tonight, we can expect scattered clouds clearing by morning. Tomorrow looks to be quite a nice day with warm and sunny weather continuing through the evening, and the weekend we can expect more of the same. So I hope you all get out there and enjoy your weekend.
it's going to be a nice weekend for everyone but Henry because he's trapped in his apartment. Yeah, okay, I already read that. What about the clock? I didn't do that. The clock stopped working a few days ago. Okay. What do I got item-wise? Okay, yeah, I've got plenty of spots for items. Okay, not Eileen. Cynthia needs our help. We should probably get back out there through the only logical way, the hole in our bathroom that has weird, creepy noises coming out of it. And that's not good. That wasn't there when we left. Some kind of mannequin. It's got a coin in its hand. Yes, I will take the coin. Hello, Jen Plastro. Welcome to the stream. What version of the game is this? This is the version on GOG. So I'm playing with the 4:3 aspect ratio just because it felt simpler. And it is the updated version of the game, so it's got all the ghosts, all the apartment hauntings, all that good stuff. And yeah, welcome to the stream. I am doing a dive into story analysis, music analysis and stuff. And we are coming up on another piece of music that I will actually have a lot of things to say about. Yeah, so GOG has been like, for whatever reason, like I want to say it was maybe not a year ago, but in the past year, like they had Silent Hill 4 for a while, but it didn't have all of the hauntings. But then, like in the past year or so, they announced, hey, we've got the game updated so that all the hauntings are working. There's no missing material from the game. And it's all here now. So I'm playing it because I did a Silent Hill 2 remake stream last year, digging into the story and music, and this was the next game I wanted to do that with. And the music has gotten terrible. But the dog AI is hilarious. It's a payphone, but it's broken. That's not map. Map is this one. Turnstile office. I look like Hans Gruber from Die Hard 1. I'll take that as a compliment. I love Alan Rickman. I guess I do kind of have that vibe going with my hair and facial hair right now. All I can think of now is him doing his California accent. Oh God, please don't kill me. That's still one of my favorite stories about that movie, that he was just doing that around the set, and then they were like, we gotta put this in the movie. Some kind of station guide, but the text is all blurry. It's totally useless. Okay, so what are we looking at? Turnstile office. This is the Lynch Street line exit. And I just picked up the... Hold on. How do I look more closely at this? Is it this? Train token for... Okay, so it is this side. I like how the actor looks annoyed through the entire movie, like both as an actor and as character. It's like he was put into that position. Yeah. The late, great Alan Rickman. It's a coin dispenser for the King Street line, but it's broken and I can't use it. I know I need to use the coin on the Lynch Street line exit, but I'm exploring so that I don't miss any little bits of story and lore. What is the map again? Don't think there's too much over here. Also, I don't know if I have a... Oh! That's normal. Yeah, hold on one second. I'm gonna change the, default control to run so that we're not wasting our time. There we go. So it does do a 16, like I don't think it has 1280 by 1024, unfortunately. It does have higher resolutions, but like I think they're all 16 by 9 or like 16 by 10, and so the gameplay actually looks fine, but it stretches out some of the like text and UI in ways that I wasn't really liking. So I might try to mess around with the display off stream for the next one so that I can maximize it. Yeah, original is 4x3 anyway, which is another reason that I wanted to do it this way. So yeah, there's just this big fleshy something that does make noise and move when you attack it, but there's nothing else you can do with it. Yeah, 16 by 9 might also give some visual glitches. Okay. Should be able to get to the street this way, but it's a dead end. It's almost like the developers don't want me going this way. Okay. Goodbye, fleshy appendage. I've got places to be. Door shut tight, I won't open it all. So let's see if we can use this Lynch Street train token. First, let's check the King Street entrance and exit. Or exit. Yeah. Entrance. Exit. And here we go. Use coin. I have the coin. Please just use it. Don't make me figure out how to... Oh my gosh, these controls. How did I do this again? Oh my gosh. I can't use this here. What do you mean? You're joking. Oh, Jim Plastro's saying, I know the guys that did the fan patch to restore the missing stuff also found like quite a few unused stuff, like an older version of our protagonist and unfinished alien ending items. Yeah, this is the only one of the 4 original games that doesn't have an alien ending. Interesting. Yeah, so that fleshy appendage Cleo, it might be more of the umbilical cord imagery, or it's just vibing. I'm inclined to think it's probably the umbilical cord imagery. Although why it's there, I don't know. I think it's probably just, hey, here's something disgusting. Look at it. There's a lot of stuff like that in this game. Why are you saying I can't use this here? Oh my gosh. What is... There we go. Oh my gosh. This is what we're dealing with, guys. You gotta be perfectly aligned. Okay. There's a fully programmed jewel thing to call the aliens. You know, the same one from the previous games. Forgot the name. Oh, yeah. And we have ghosts. Ghosts are really creepy and a cool creature design, but one of the worst things about the gameplay because you cannot kill them. You can incapacitate them later in the game if you have a sword, but otherwise they just hurt you if you stay near them, and there's nothing you can do about... Oh, come on. Okay, which way am I going? Please, just... It's filled with some kind of weird stuff. What is that? Is that like a body or something? I don't know. I gotta get away from these ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts, but I also do not want to be near them. I would rather not die by being in the mere presence of a ghost. Okay. So... we're going this way, I guess, where it gets more rusty and weird, because... Oh, there's Cynthia. Oh, we've got another ghost coming out of the wall. Oh, there's Cynthia. Look, I'm working on it. Just give me a second. There's ghosts. Yes, I am aware of someone. Oh, and there's... Jeez. Okay. I just did this the other night. Hold on. Okay. Everybody was so happy when they restored the ghosts and like the monkey's paw curls. Yeah, so yeah, the ghost I like in concept, but unfortunately it's just they're so annoying when it comes to actual gameplay. There's a button here. Sure. Looks like the car's door opened. Did we free Cynthia? Can I... oh, we did. Okay. Cynthia, let's get away from these ghosts. Yeah, invulnerable enemies, just please don't. Okay. And it's really cool and creepy how they come out of the wall and they're like gross about it. Oh my gosh, and the noises, my word. Cynthia, let's book it. Okay, where am I going now? Here. This section is also just tedious and frustrating. This is something I might pull up the walkthrough for, just because I'm working my way through it. There's a toy box here. It has 1000 or 1008 written on it. It's locked and I can't open it. Yeah, give me 1 second while I bring up the walkthrough to see if I can get some of these items. Okay. Subway World. Opening hallways. Concourse and dead end corridor. Connecting stairway. Releasing Cynthia, navigating the subway car maze. The aisle to the south is blocked, so use the right cement column to get to the other side of the car. There's a toy box on the bench there, but it's locked, so forget it for now and pass through the next. Oh, is the toy box something that we deal with the next time we come into the subway world? Okay. Advance the next car south. Cement column to reach the fourth subway car. Okay. All right, I'm gonna figure this out. We got it. It's fine. We've got this. Wait, hold on. I will say, though, they probably wouldn't be as scary if they were beatable. But I don't know. The ghosts are against the principle of expiration. Yeah, that is one of the things when it kind of disrupts your ability to just like appreciate the environment and stuff. Which is, what the hell? What are we at on the what the hell counter? That's 3 and 4, I think, at least. Probably more than that. And we've got something nearby. Do we got a ghost here? I don't know where I'm going. Okay. Where am I going? I think I'm going the right way. It's a combination of the camera angles and the narrow passageways and the ghosts. Okay. Okay, wait, hold on. Why am I... Is there something I could get down here? No. Oh, friggin' ghost. Let's go this way. Cynthia, we need to get out of here. Door's shut, and there's one coming out of the wall. And can I please turn my camera? Okay. Check to see if there's anything down this way. I don't think there is. But for the sake of argument. Also, you'll notice that if you're coming to this from the Silent Hill 2 remake, for those in the chat, this game is a lot more quiet in a lot of ways. Part of that might have been by choice. Part of it might have been like, we can't be bothered to create atmosphere for every part of this game. Cynthia. What happened to Cynthia? I didn't check that staircase, so let me go back and do that really quick. Also, maybe we'll find Cynthia. We aren't going to find Cynthia. Cynthia somehow, through no one's fault but her own, as far as I can tell, continues to get lost and not stay with us. Oh, we got some bullets. See, it pays to explore. Looking at beta/older Henry model, he looks much younger, like an 18-year-old or maybe 17-year-old. But I prefer his clothes. It's a brown jacket, tucked in shirt, and blue jeans. Interesting. So they might have been initially skewing younger with Henry. Okay. Yeah, and I guess health drinks aren't as much of a thing in this game because the apartment heals you. Yeah, you know what? Since there's a hole, let's go back and heal and save and see if there's anything different about the apartment, because you always got to check every time you go back to the apartment. We are probably going to get to the final scene with Cynthia and then talk about Room of Angel and then call it a night. So this is working out time-wise basically exactly how I hoped. I usually, if you're new to the stream, I did my Silent Hill 2 stream, I would start at 7 o'clock and end at 10 typically. If I had a good place to end on earlier than that, I would. If I didn't have a good place to end on at 10, I would go later than that. But it's looking like we're probably going to end around 10 tonight. Yeah, the apartment mechanics is probably the coolest part of this game. Everything that you do in the apartment. Cleo says, I am also healed by naps, Henry. All right. Nothing outside. Door is still creepy. What about Eileen? Is everything okay over at Eileen's? Okay. Robbie the rabbit plushie still sitting there creepy on the bed. What about anything in the windows? Yeah, okay. Doesn't look like anything's changed. There's a couple people looking out the window. Do they see me? All right, let's save. Do we need to drop anything? No, again, we don't have too many things, so. Although we already used the Lynch Street coin, right? I'll hold on to it just in case I need it to exit for some reason, which I don't think so. Ah. Yes, that they did, Jen Plastro. SH4 devs resisted the temptation of putting people having sex in one of the apartments. And for that, I am thankful. Because honestly, even if they did do something like that, it would probably end really weird and fucked up because it's Silent Hill. Yes. And we're in a weird, otherworldly looking place. Okay, hold on. No, no. Wait. No. Okay, so that's a ladder. So before I go up there, I do want to explore this way, even though there's a fucking ghosts. Oh, they're so disgusting. Is there anything over here? Oh, there's a corner. Okay, and door. Door! Dog! Okay. Oh, and we've got more of those fleshy tubes. This is where it begins or ends? Man, I don't know. It's fucking weird and disgusting, and I don't like it.
I found the exit.
Oh, did you know?
Henry, I found the exit. Come to the turnstile.
Okay, should I check that ladder then? If that's the way to progress. Well, I should go check that out, but nothing I do is going to change what's about to happen. So I'm going to go check that ladder really quick. Fucking ghosts. Who's over here? Or maybe this is the way to the turnstile. Bullets. Grand. And yep, I think that's it in here. Okay. A productive outing. Now, I'm sure I didn't waste any time, and that Cynthia is absolutely fine. Okay, and there's a dog. I'm not going to bother with the dogs. Oh, come on. Or maybe I should bother with the dogs. Where's the friggin'... Oh, okay. Oh, there's so many. Come on. Okay, now I can stomp them to my heart's content. Dog's gonna bother with you, apparently. It's a vending machine. I wonder what it was vending anyway. What, Henry? It's a vending machine. It looks like it's got chips and stuff in it. You judging the vending machine with those quotation marks? Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. Where are we going? Ooh, golf club. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes. Chips beyond his comprehension. Through the driver's seat window, I can see light coming in from the side of the tunnel. A light at the end of the tunnel? Okay. I see the hole over there, but I'm just trying to... we're on the King Street line. Okay. Fixed camera angles. Hey. Is this where he came from? No, I don't think so. Yeah, the last hole was in the red room with the ladder. Henry is baffled at the thought of conducting transactions with a machine. Look, Cynthia sounded like she was in trouble, but I need to heal. So... nothing out here. Okay. Anything at the door? Ooh. Who's out there? It's old Frank Sunderland sweeping, or, yeah. With a push broom. Was that French maid lady? I don't know. Okay. Let's check in on Eileen. Oh, in a window. Let's see. Got a couple people there. Got a striped t-shirt. Got the rocker down there. We got Richard Braintree. Okay. Radio?
And now the news. In Washington, a gathering of 200,000 people appealing for stricter gun control laws in the wake of a spate of violent shootings throughout the country turned tragic when shots were fired into the crowd. 2 people were killed and several wounded, including a 3-year-old child. At this moment, no suspects have been found. Police are investigating the source of the shots.
That seems to be like a recurring theme in all of the Team Silent Hill games. Is, hey, America, you got fucking problems with your gun laws. It's never like overtly stated, but there's always little details and stuff. Okay. Did I check everything? I should save. Oh yeah, there's nothing different there. Something. Okay. Yeah, Jen Plaster says, yeah, I feel like every Silent Hill is like, oh yeah, there's these random murders going on besides the plight of the protagonist. Yeah, there's that aspect of it. Then there's finding a gun in a supermarket shopping cart in Silent Hill 2, which I feel like they're on record as saying like, oh, hey, health drink. It was saying like, oh, it's supposed to be a commentary on how easy it is to buy a gun in America. There's a like almost shul scootery. Wow, that was a terrible phrase to get the letters mixed up on. The school shootery vibes of the Midwich Elementary sequence in Silent Hill 1, which is part of why like they changed the creatures for the Western version. Or maybe that was what kind of prompted it for the later games. Was just like, oh, well, we weren't thinking about that, but now that's something for us to comment on. I fucking hate these. Damn it. Thought I timed it right, but I didn't. Okay. Jeez. I fucking hate these again. Like, I don't think Silent Hill 3 has anything like that. I haven't played it in a while. Come on. This is why they gave you a health drink at the bottom of the fucking escalator. Okay. Just gonna swing. Oh, swing twice. Duh. Okay. Oh, 3! Jeez. Okay. If I die on this first escalator ride, I'm going to be so frustrated. This sequence, these are the worst sequences in this entire game. Like, even worse than the ghost, because there's nowhere you can go except forward. Please, thank goodness. Okay. Where's that health drink I just got? Like, that was probably a waste because I don't think I'm going to run anything else until I get back to the apartment next. So it just came from there. No, I'm not going back down there. What's this way? Oh, wrong button. Hey. Take the pistol bullets. I haven't used the pistol yet. Can the pistol kill... Can you actually kill the stuff coming out of the walls? I can't remember. I think you can, but, like, it's such a hassle. Alright. This is why I'm playing on easy. Because I just don't want to have to deal with this shit. Okay, now let's actually start taking things seriously for a moment, because this is an upsetting scene to come upon. Women's makeup items are scattered on the ground. These must be Cynthia's. And there seems to be blood on the window. Things are not looking good. And for anyone who needs this warning in the chat, we're about to come upon something upsetting in terms of story and visuals. And yeah, let's just get into it. There's a plate on the door. You got the temptation placard. Great.
Are you okay?
It's just a dream, right? I think I drank too much last night. I never got to do that special favor for you. I feel like I'm dying.
Okay. It's just a dream. Cynthia? Man, what's that noise out there?
Okay. We're going to check what's going on outside, and then we're going to talk about Room of Angel. There's an ambulance and a police car near the subway entrance. Is it Cynthia? Almost as if to confirm, no, the things that you're experiencing are not a dream. Jen Plaster said, "It's such a powerful scene for a character we really don't know at all." Yeah, it's one of the things that I appreciate so much about the writing in the original Team Silent games is like, yeah, we don't know a ton about Cynthia, but they put in just enough detail to make her feel like a real person. Like it's something that I'm always looking for in media, in fiction, where it's like make us feel like these characters have a life outside of the story. And with Cynthia, we know that like she went to a party last night, she got drunk, she thinks that it's all a dream. She wanted to do a special favor for Henry, and some of that stuff is a little cheesy, but they like it does make us feel like okay, this is a human being. It isn't just a plot device, and it is part of what makes that scene hit a little bit harder than if it was someone that they fleshed out even less than that. Like and it is one of those things with like serial killer movies or slasher movies where it's such a trope at this point for the characters that get killed to be just cannon fodder, and you're not really supposed to be rooting for them. And that's whenever they do that in slash movies, to me it's one of the most boring, lazy things you can do, because if you want people to feel scared at a horror movie, then you kind of need to get them to care about the characters so that they're fearing for the characters' well-being. Jim Plaster said, I also think Cynthia's death makes you really worried about Eileen later on. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so everything about that scene, again, the staging, again, it's like, this isn't gore in the sense of like, oh, it's over the top blood spatter, like in your face. We're just going to be gruesome and stuff. It is gory and gruesome, but not in that over the top way that horror movies and horror video games can sometimes do, where it's just like, oh, I can't take this seriously. They take the pains, the literal definition of painstaking. They are painstaking about grounding a scene like that in such a way where it's like, no, this is upsetting and disturbing. And even though you didn't know Cynthia for very long, it is upsetting what happens to her. Like particularly the numbers being carved into her chest. And then all of that is underscored by Akira Yamaoka's incredible soundtrack, which it's always funny to me how Room of Angel is the last track on the soundtrack release, but it's one of the earliest ones that you hear in the game. Like you hear it over the opening credits, and then you hear it there during the first of many death scenes in this game. So let's take a moment to talk about Room of Angel. Yeah, exactly, Cleo. She really hasn't I wasn't supposed to be here today feeling fun, full of life, doesn't even believe it's happening. Yeah, it is one of those things that Silent Hill is so good at doing, is that displacement, that feeling of like, no, that this is wrong. Why is this happening this way? In a way where it's not, oh, this doesn't make sense on a storytelling level, or like, oh no, this is bad writing. It's no, this is wrong in the sense of like, this shouldn't be happening to these people. This shouldn't be happening to these characters. So I am going to bring up my piano demos display so that we can talk about Room of Angel. This is, to me, like one of the most iconic pieces in the entire Silent Hill series. Partly because it's just gorgeous. Like the music is so haunting, and the lyrics are very poetic and imagistic while still feeling like they tie into the story. Not too literally like some of the later games do. And also it is It features Mary Elizabeth McGlynn on vocals. These days, a lot of people are probably familiar with Mary Elizabeth McGlynn through stuff like Critical Role, where she played Zara, and I think she's the director for their TV series. But she's also done so much anime as a voice actor and as a director. She was the major in the English language dub of Ghost in the Shell. And she was also the featured vocalist on so many of the Silent Hill soundtracks, starting with Silent Hill 3. So Room of Angel. According to the source I found, it said lyrics are written by Joe Ramirsa and series writer Hiroyuki Owaku. I don't know if that means... I remember reading a long time ago that Hiroyuki Owaku wrote the lyrics to the songs in Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill 4, and then they got translated. I don't know if Joe Ramirsa did the translating. I'm pretty sure Joe Ramirsa wrote the lyrics for another song on the Silent Hill 4 soundtrack, Cradle of Force, so it might have just been that got bundled together. But do I want to talk about the lyrics first? Let's talk about the music first. The song actually opens with a sample that, like, that very atmospheric kind of, like, again, haunting sound at the beginning is a sample called Dreamland 1 from the Alien Guitars sample library by Big Fish Audio. I was able to get that information via the samples used by Akira Yamaoka thread on SilentHillForum.com. Special thanks to Vivisect and the rest of the users in that topic, because they were able to pinpoint a lot of the samples Akira Yamaoka used on the early Silent Hill soundtracks, and that's been a great resource for this sort of stuff. But yeah, that opening sample, it sets such a tone. It does sound like it is a guitar with some sort of effect on it, like to give it like a reverse sound or like an interesting echo of some sort. And it's one of those sounds where it's like, it's not grating, but it feels like it just cuts into your brain in a particular way. And we get that tone that kind of plays around on these. Like, it starts off, I think we have the drum sound that comes in basically at the beginning of every measure. And then we've got that guitar sound that is kind of playing around these C minor notes based on where the sample has been placed in the mix. Somewhere around there. And then we get this main piano riff that comes in. So we're in C minor, and we're just going back and forth on the C minor chord with the root, the third and the fifth, and then the octave above. And the piano is pretty minimal in this song because we have that vocal melody. I remember reading a while ago in an interview with Tom Waltz, I think, or no, Tom Hewlett, who was the, was he the creative director for the Western-made Silent Hill games? He was kind of the face of Silent Hill for the Western-made games, which ended up with him getting a lot of flack for the Western games when he was, based on stuff I've read, one of the people who was actually trying to maintain some of the integrity that the Silent Hill series had. If it wasn't for him, we would have had a Super Saiyan battle over Toluca Lake between Alessa and Josh from Silent Hill Homecoming. So thank you, Tom Hewlett, for not letting that happen. Jen Plaster says, a lot of these actors I only really know from Silent Hill or other games such as it. Since I'm not a native English speaker, I don't have English dub in anime. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so we've got these vocals from Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and I remember reading in an interview with Tom Hewlett back around the time that I think Downpour and Book of Memories were coming out, where he talked about how when Akira Yamaoka has a vocal track, he basically sends an instrumental with some instrument playing the vocal melody. So, and he referenced specifically like the rock songs on the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack. Those are a good example of the sort of demos that they would get from Akira Yamaoka when he was like, "Hey, I want to have vocals on this." And in the case of those songs, you've got a lead guitar playing the main melody, and that is essentially what Mary Elizabeth McGlynn would hear, and then she would sing what the guitar is playing to whatever lyrics that she was given. When it comes to the harmonic structure of this song, it's pretty straightforward. We're staying almost completely in the natural minor scale, the natural C minor scale. Which, again, I talked about this a lot in my Silent Hill 2 videos. C minor seems to be Akira Yamaoka's favorite key to write in. I don't know what it is about it. It does feel like it has this melancholy vibe to it. And it sits in a nice register on the piano. And the main chord progression for the verses is just this C minor that then shifts to B flat and then G, which I think, based on if I'm remembering the piano part correctly, it's basically just doing the root, the fifth, and the octave for the chord, but the melody and other instruments seem to suggest that it's a G minor chord rather than that very classical major G major in a minor key. So we've got that for the verses: C minor, B flat, G minor. And we also have this synth part that comes in halfway through the verse. We start off with just the piano doing this and the vocal melody. That's what confirms the G minor for us. And then right there, we get this cool synth tone that comes in with this, like, over the piano. And then we get to the chorus. Plastic keys on this synthesizer. Slippery. And we like that is the whole song. Like eventually it does modulate up to E flat minor with a but it's still the same chord relationships. So the chorus in particular is really haunting because there's, "Hey, Wanderer Era, welcome to the stream. We're talking about the song Room of Angel in Silent Hill 4. And yeah, the chorus has all these harmonies layered on top of the lead vocals, which give it this haunting vibe. But one of the things that I brought up in my Silent Hill 2 videos was that I don't know if I have any like concrete evidence from like an interview or something to back this up. I have only my own musical sensibilities, but I have a strong belief that Room of Angel is meant to connect to Angela in Silent Hill 2 for a few different reasons. One of them is we have Angel's Thanatos in Silent Hill 2, so we already have the precedence of a song with Angel in the title. And between Angel's Thanatos and Magdalene, we do seem to have songs that are like, have titles that are adjacent to character names. Like Magdalene is connected to Mary and Maria, and Angel's Thanatos, even though it doesn't play like in an Angela scene, it plays over the credits. To me, it's like, okay, the words are close enough. That's probably meant to be a reference to Angela, because I don't know what else it could be a reference to title-wise in Silent Hill 2. The other reason I feel like, another big reason I feel like it's connected to Angela is because the melody of Promise Reprise has that walking up the scale to the 5th scale degree and then back down, which is very similar to the melody of the chorus of Room of Angel. It's not the exact same thing, but it is close. And to me, that seems like a close enough melodic figure for them to potentially have that connection. The other big reason that I feel like they have a connection to each other is ultimately the lyrics. There are few songs on the Silent Hill 4 soundtrack that seem to harken back to Silent Hill 2. One of them, the most obvious one, is Waiting for You, which, like, clearly a reference to the letter from Silent Hill 2 and Mary's whole deal. And then it also includes the Theme of Laura guitar riff towards the end of the song in the guitar work in Waiting for You. But let me see if I can bring up... I wanted to figure out a way I could bring up the lyrics for Room of Angel on screen, and maybe I can do that. In a way that will be satisfying and useful. Okay. Let's see if I grab this and then drag it over here. Does that change this? No. Okay. And let's see if I do this. And then this. And if I add a window capture. Specifically to this. Okay. So now let's send this back. Move down behind the overlay. And let's do this. And I can actually... You know what? Maybe I can... apologies while I figure this out. And do it in a way where, like, it actually looks decent. I prepared a lot of stuff today, but this was something that I forgot to get to. Okay, if I zoom in, perhaps. Wait. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Let's do this. Oh, not that. Okay. If I do... That's a game capture. Hold on. Lyric window. Let's do this. Let's do this. And if I do this. Okay. That works, right? Room of Angels, song by Kiriyamoka, 2004. Jen Palastra said both Angela and Cynthia and everyone else that dies in Silent Hill 4 are doomed characters. Yeah, that is another thing that they like to do in the Silent Hill games, is have these deaths. Like also Lisa in Silent Hill 1, where it's like there is nothing you can do about this, and it sucks because this person doesn't deserve this. I'm gonna shift this over just a little bit. Oh wait, no, that was bad. Okay, there we go. So, Room of Angel. Obvious connections to Silent Hill 4 are like the game is called The Room, and spoilers for revelations later in the game. We've already been talking about how there are these connections to there are a lot of rehearsals of this idea of mother and child in this, even in the early parts of the game. There's that storybook that you find on the table when you're exploring the apartment as Joseph Schreiber in the dream. There are radio broadcasts referencing like, oh, this animal at the zoo had a kid. Mother and child are thriving or whatever. They're doing well. And you've got the whole idea of like the hole in the bathroom being your umbilical cord out of the apartment into these different worlds. To spoil a major plot point of this story, but that is kind of the nature of the streams that I've been doing. Walter Sullivan has a very complicated relationship with his mother, as you can imagine. He was left in room 302 by his parents as a baby and retrieved by the Order, the cult in Silent Hill. I don't know if it was specifically Dahlia Gillespie who found him, but she figures into his story. And at some point in his childhood, he was led to... He believed that room 302, the apartment itself, was his mother. And I think by the time he became an adult, he grew out of that belief. But it is part of what characterizes everything that happens in this game. Yeah, Cleo. Walter Sullivan had a really fucked up childhood that we'll learn more about in future streams. And Dahlia Gillespie, I believe, or Dahlia Gillespie, I never know how to pronounce it, Gillespie. Dahlia took him back to the apartment several times when he was a child to visit his mother. And so he has this obsession with room 302 specifically. And so that's where a lot of this, the lyrics in this song, the influence on the lyrics in the song come from, and a lot of the story telling comes from, is this weird, complicated relationship Walter Sullivan has with just the concept of a mother. And so we've got these lyrics. You lie silent there before me. Your tears, they mean nothing to me. The wind howling at the window. The love you never gave, I give to you. You really don't deserve it, but then now there's nothing you can do. So sleep in your only memory of me, my dearest mother. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes. Goodbye. It was always you that I despised. I don't feel enough for you to cry. Oh well. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes. Goodbye. So this suggests an antagonistic relationship with the speaker's mother. There is imagery that to me suggests Silent Hill 4. Like, for whatever the reason, like the wind howling at the window, that's a very evocative image, and it makes me think of the windows, the apartment and stuff. But this definitely wasn't written to be a literal retelling of any part of any story. Unlike some of the later songs in the games that weren't written by the same lyricist and feel a little bit like they're trying too hard to be literal and directly connected to the story of the games. This feels much more like the sort of song I would like to write if I were in the position to write a song like this for a property. It's like, this doesn't have to be from a particular character's perspective necessarily, but it should touch on themes of the story and the characters. But even then, like, the impression I always got from Walter in these games was that, like, he was reverent towards his mother. Like, he again, he was obsessed with her in certain ways, but like that first note that we find underneath the door at the beginning of the game says, "Mom, why won't you wake up?" And it, like, that is the childlike aspect of Walter, but there is this idea that, like, oh, he cares a lot about his mother and he wants her there. The lyrics here suggest someone who hates their mother. It was always you that I despised. And we know that the speaker is talking to their mother because it says, "So sleep in your only memory of me, my dearest mother." Unless there are different speakers in the song, maybe the chorus is supposed to be the mother speaking to the child. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes. Goodbye. It was always you that I despised. But if it is from the perspective of the child, then yeah, Jen Plastro, that is sort of where I see the Angela connection. This idea that Angela in Silent Hill 2 is searching for her mother, and it sounds almost like I discussed this, I think, in some of my stream for Silent Hill 2. It's like, what is she hoping to do? Is she hoping to gain some sort of absolution? Is she looking to kill her mother? It does seem like Angela's mother was not great. Like, she suffered at the hands of her father probably, but it also sounds like she didn't do anything to help Angela. So that is sort of where I see the connection to Angela in these lyrics, is this idea of, like, despising the mother. And it could be that the chorus is meant to be from the mother's perspective. In terms of Walter's story, it could be like, oh, this is what Walter perhaps learned about his birth mother, is that she just left him in the room 302. And so maybe she despised him, or maybe he does despise her. Maybe this isn't referring to the room itself, but it's referring to his birth mother. Let's look at the second verse. Again, I love how poetic the lyric and imagistic and evocative these lyrics are, because they set such a tone and atmosphere the same way that the music does, the same way that the visuals in the game do. So insignificant, sleeping dormant deep inside of me. Are you hiding away, lost under the sewers? Maybe flying high in the clouds? Perhaps you're happy without me. So many seeds have been sown in the field, and who could sprout up so blessedly? If I had died, I would have never felt sad at all. You will not hear me say, I'm sorry. Where is the light? Wonder if it's weeping somewhere. And then it repeats the chorus. So the second one, I've always felt like this song was a conversation. The first verse almost seems like it's from the perspective of the child because it says "my dearest mother," and then the second verse almost sounds like it's from the perspective of the mother. This whole idea of so insignificant, sleeping dormant deep inside of me. That could refer to sleeping in room 302, or it could even be referring to a child in the womb. Are you hiding away, lost under the sewers? Maybe flying high in the clouds. Perhaps you're happy without me. That to me almost suggests Walter's birth mother. I left you in this apartment. Maybe you're happy without me. So many seeds have been sown in the field, and who could sprout up so blessedly? This is a place where, like, the cadence of the lines and the actual, like, scansion of them and, like, where the sentences divide, it is a little bit, you wouldn't necessarily pick up on it just by listening to it, because she sings it with these two lines kind of run together. And who could sprout up so blessedly if I had died, which I'd always taken as one phrase, but every lyric reference that I found has it written as those are two separate thoughts. Which, like, just a little bit of a tangent, it does make me think of how, like, there are a lot of times when I listen to songs with English lyrics that were written by a Japanese composer or a Japanese lyricist, where there are oftentimes you get these linguistic kind of surprises that aren't the way a like English first language speaker would structure things, but it creates oftentimes some interesting things. Sometimes it makes things sound a little clunky. Other times you stumble upon these really interesting things that you wouldn't think of to do if you are naturally, that is your native language. And so you get this, and who could sprout up so blessedly if I had died, which sounds really beautiful, even though it doesn't split the way that, like, a natural English speaker would split up those statements. If I had died, I would have never felt sad at all. Yeah, I'm trying to think about who that could be referring to. Like, is it from Walter's perspective? Is it from the mother's perspective? You will not hear me say I'm sorry. Again, like, this whole verse does feel like it's from the mother's perspective, because as we'll learn later, Walter's birth mother also had a very troubled relationship with his birth father, and yeah, where is the light? Wonder if it's weeping somewhere. That's such a beautiful, tragic line. And then, yeah, this consistent feeling of, it was always you that I despised. The whole song, it's so dark. It's so, yeah, it's so, dark is the best word I can come up with for it. Jen Plastra said, I find Angela very interesting because she's a complex victim and not someone who we clearly know is in the right. We can understand her motives for killing her father, but when it comes to her mother and brother, it gets very murky territory. Yeah, it's one of the interesting points with Silent Hill 2 where you don't get a whole ton of concrete details about her mother and brother in the game. I think you get more about them in the novel, which, Cleo, you've read. I haven't had the chance to read. But she is a very complicated character, and she is both a victim and the person who killed her father, and it is, again, such a great example of the way that the original Team Silent wrote such three-dimensional characters, and particularly with the story of Silent Hill 2, how they leave it very much up to the player's interpretation of, like, who's in the right, who's in the wrong, where are things perhaps gray. But But yeah, this is just such a beautiful song. Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's voice sounds incredible on all the Silent Hill songs. My favorite story about her becoming the vocalist for the Silent Hill songs that she's told at like live shows or in interviews is how when Akira Yamaoka first sent her like the first song that she ever recorded for the Silent Hill games, which I want to say was either like it was one of the songs from Silent Hill 3, obviously, and I don't know if it was You're Not Here or if it was why am I blanking on the name? It's the last track on the album. Something Love. It's one of my favorite songs. How am I blanking on it? I'll cut this out of the Staying On Theme video. It's fine. Oh, no, stop. No, I didn't mean to do that. I Want Love. Jeez. It's such a simple name, that's why I forget. But yeah, I don't know if it was I Want Love or why am I blanking on all the names of the songs from Silent Hill 3? What's the opening song? You're Not Here. I kept wanting to say Your Rain, and I'm in the Silent Hill 4 mode. The point is, whatever song Akira Yamaoka sent to her first, she looked at the sheet music and was like, or she listened to it and was like, Akira, I can't sing these notes. I'm an alto, and you've written this for like a soprano voice. And he basically told her, yeah, I did that on purpose because the quality of your lower vocal register reaching for those higher notes will create this character and this tension in your vocal that is what I'm looking for the soundtrack. The Silent Hill soundtrack has never been about just being pretty, although there are some very beautiful, pretty moments on the soundtracks. It has that edge to it. It has that grit to it. And so he purposely wrote something that would be something that she would have to strain to get so that he could get those qualities out of her voice that would add that like those sounds of desperation in the vocalization on You're Not Here and on I Want Love, and then a song like Room of Angel. This one she doesn't have to strain. It sits pretty comfortably in her register. I think it's also a case of like once you start working with a composer, it's easier for them to figure out what sounds good in your register. But she has this haunting quality to her voice where she can sing beautifully, but there is so much character to her tone. It isn't just like pure. It has that almost like ethereal quality to it. I have trouble figuring out words to describe it. Like not scratchiness, but it's got depth to it. It isn't just a polished, perfect sounding vocal, and it has so much to it. I love her voice. But yeah, so that is my big Silent Hill to die on. No, that is one of my pet theories that again isn't confirmed anywhere in anything I've read, but that because of the connections between Silent Hill 4 and Silent Hill 2, particularly in some of the songs, I feel like this isn't just meant to be a song about Walter and his relationship with his mother. I think it's also meant to be hearkening back to Angela and her relationship with her mother. And even if it wasn't intended, I think it's definitely a reading you can take from this, and it deepens the relationship between the two games. Jim Plastra said, the novel and games have conflicting info. In the novel, she has an older brother who abused her. In the games, and specifically in the remake, her brother is underage. and like 4 or so years younger than her. Where does it say that in the remake? I'm sure that detail is there somewhere, but I don't remember coming across it. The fact that she kills a child radically changes the whole dynamic of her plight for me. Yeah, if that is the case and her brother is younger, that definitely complicates things in a way, in a different way than before. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Room of Angel. Let me double check my notes really quick. I'll X out of this. Well, hold on. Let me read real quick. Oh yeah, just the last thing that I wanted to talk about specifically with the lyrics on a craft level is, again, at no point in this are they just dropping plot details, which some of the later games, the lyrics get a little clunkier because it feels like they're trying to force a more direct connection between the lyrics. Whereas this seems to be like, okay, we've got those themes there, but we will lose some of that specificity for the sake of the poeticism. And you've got these beautiful images, like you lie silent there before me, the wind howling at the window, sleep in your only memory of me, my dearest mother. It's just so like gorgeous lyricism. Are you hiding away, lost under the sewers? Where is the light? Wonder if it's weeping somewhere. Yeah, I love this song. Okay, I'll X out of this. You can see her brother in a family photo. She is around the same age as in game. In the photo, he's much younger. The age difference is my guess. In the remake, the full photo is on the floor and a few times during the game. It's not an item you can pick up. You can only pick up a burned photo at one point, I think. Okay, interesting. Yeah, we'll have to dig into that further. Cleo is still doing her Silent Hill 2 playthrough where she's been putting up commentary videos on YouTube, youtube.com/Cleolinda. And then on her Tumblr and Patreon, she's been doing full write-up commentaries where she digs into so many details in the game. Everything from the artwork on the walls in the hospital to I don't know, other super specific stuff that she discovered in playing the remake. But yeah, I think I'm going to bring my stream to a close. Before I do that, I will mention I will be playing Silent Hill 4 every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. That's just basically the best way for it to work for me with my schedule. Mondays, I've been streaming Blueprints when I can. And that's every Monday, not every other week. But yeah, so my next Silent Hill 4 stream will be Wednesday, January 21st. And basically for this one, we got through the opening and the subway world. So I imagine next time we'll get through the forest world, maybe even the building world, depending on, or is it it's the building world and then the water prison, or is it the water prison and then the building? I can't remember. We might get through one or two worlds just based on the fact that this game is shorter than something like the Silent Hill 2 remake or Silent Hill F. And there are, like, I took a big chunk of time talking about Room of Angel today, but there are fewer of those moments in Silent Hill 4 than there were in Silent Hill 2. But hopefully still enough that I can put a bunch of cool stuff up on YouTube. This VOD should be on YouTube tomorrow. But yeah, I'll be streaming Silent Hill 4 again in 2 weeks, January 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next Friday, January 16th, in Central New York, my band Mosaic Mind will be playing at Funkin' Waffles in downtown Syracuse. And that show, doors are at 7, show is at 8. If you are in the Central New York area, we would love to see you there. You can go to our website, mosaicmindband.com, to find the event and find the link to the tickets. If you are not in the Central New York area, which I imagine most of the people watching the stream are, you'll also be able to watch it on Funk and Waffles Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Funk and Waffles Live. That's Funk, the letter N, Waffles Live, all one word. I'll put that in the chat. So that's Friday, January 16th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can check out our music at mosaicmindband.com. You can check out the rest of my stuff at ian-doherty.com. I have a bunch of other music that I've done besides with my band. I also have a YouTube channel, iDoherty551, where I post these playthroughs, and I've split out the music commentary sections of the playthroughs, specifically my Silent Hill 2 one, into a series called Staying on Theme, where I do these deep dives on the musical analysis, the storytelling of the music of these games that I love so much. So if you've enjoyed any of this, I hope to see you at the next stream. Check out my YouTube to see more of this stuff. Cleo and I have a podcast that we started, Cleo and Ian Catch Up, where the first 3 episodes of it, we're talking about, we're doing a retro on my playthrough of the Silent Hill 2 remake. And we will hopefully have a couple more episodes up by the end of the month. Life happened in a variety of ways, so we'll see when we're able to get those up. But those will be releasing on Saturdays at 10 a.m. When they're available. You can follow my social media stuff or her social media stuff, and we'll mention when they are coming up. Yeah, is there anything else I wanted to bring up? If you've liked anything that I've seen here, follow me, and you want to support me in some way, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Ian Doherty, where I basically collect all the stuff I'm doing and use it like a blog, but I also have started putting up exclusive music for the paid members under the series called Unfinished Paintings, where it's basically like work in progress stuff, things that I've had sitting around for a while that haven't necessarily been released, but I like and want to share with people. So check that stuff out. There are a few of them that are public access right now. There's always so many things. I'm always convinced I'm going to forget something. But thanks again for watching. Thanks for sticking around if you're still hanging out. And once again, the next stream will be Wednesday, January 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 weeks from now. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care and have a good night. Yeah, it's always nice to see people who really like Silent Hill stuff.